Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're embarking on, well, just an exhilarating journey into a literary classic. It's one that's absolutely brimming with heart-pounding adventure, profound betrayal, and a truly, truly epic coming-of-age story. You've entrusted us with this rich collection of notes, insightful articles, and some really captivating excerpts from Robert Louis Stevenson's iconic novel, Kidnapped.
Such a good one.
It really is. And our mission, as always, is to meticulously unpack the incredible saga of young David Balfour.
It's an inspired choice, really. This novel, it offers such a fascinating window into the tumultuous landscape of 18th century Scotland.
Absolutely.
It delves deep into the intricate bonds of family, the complex interplay of political loyalties, and just the sheer unyielding grit required for survival back then.
Yeah.
We'll be meticulously tracing David's transformation from this quite sheltered, naive orphan into a seasoned, resilient adventurer. We'll highlight the pivotal moments that shape him, all set against this vividly depicted historical backdrop.
Okay, let's dive right into this then. We're going to navigate his initial hopes for, what he thinks is his rightful inheritance.
Right, that's the starting point.
And then the shocking, calculated betrayal that just abruptly shatters his innocence. His harrowing and utterly unexpected voyage across the high seas. That's just unbelievable.
Terrifying.
Then there's the forging of an unlikely, yet somehow unbreakable alliance that's born out of shared danger. Of course, his epic flight across the rugged, unforgiving Scottish Highlands.
The flight in the heather, yeah.
All in this relentless pursuit of justice. So prepare yourself for a truly wild and insightful ride through both history and adventure. Okay, so our story kicks off in the summer of 1751. And you have to remember, this is a really pivotal, quite volatile period in Scotland's history. It's still reeling from the aftershocks of the Jacobite Rising.
Definitely. The 45 is still very fresh in people's minds.
Exactly. And our protagonist is David Balfour. He's just 17 years old, an orphan. His world has just been completely upended by the recent death of his father.
So he's alone, basically.
Pretty much. He's leaving his simple, familiar home in Essendine, and he's carrying this letter. A letter that, holds the key to his entire future.
The crucial letter.
It's from his late father, addressed to his uncle, Ebenezer Balfour of Shaws. Now, this document isn't just a formality. It concerns David's rightful inheritance. And it sets him off on what he believes is this straightforward, almost, predetermined path to claiming his place in the world.
Full of hope.
He's full of a young man's hope, maybe a little bit of trepidation, but fundamentally, he's trusting.
And this initial state of David's, it's so crucial, isn't it? Stevenson masterfully establishes David's profound vulnerability and his, well, let's face it, his rather naive understanding of the world.
Completely naive.
He's depicted as trusting, even grateful. You've got the kindly minister of Essendine, Mr. Campbell, bidding him this fond farewell. You can almost hear Mr. Campbell's gentle words. "Well, Davy lad, I will go with you as far as the ford to set you on the way."
Yeah, it's a nice image.
It's a moment of innocence, really. A last touch of the familiar and benevolent before David steps into the complete unknown. His journey is framed, in his mind at least, as this simple, almost bureaucratic process of claiming what's rightfully his.
Like filling out forms or something.
Kinda.
Yeah.
And the hints of his inheritance, they're quite modest. Little pickle money for your father's books and plenishing, and this design of reselling at a profit. It suggests a comfortable, maybe, but not a lavish future.
Right.
Stevenson uses David's limited third-person perspective here really effectively to emphasize his sheltered upbringing and his profound inexperience. He genuinely believes in, the inherent goodness of family and the justness of the law.
Which sets up the fall perfectly.
It creates this powerful contrast, absolutely, setting the stage for the deep, deep treachery that is about to just shatter his worldview. He is truly an innocent abroad, about to learn the harsh realities that lie beneath society's polite facade.
And his destination, the House of Shaws. It's anything but welcoming. From the moment he lays eyes on it, he's gripped by this immediate, profound sense of unease.
Not what he expected, I imagine.
Definitely not the grand ancestral home he might have pictured. Instead, Stevenson describes it as a big, muckle house, which implies something unwieldy, imposing maybe, but also unfinished, crumbling. It's got unglazed windows where bats fly in, doves out.
Wow, that's evocative.
It really is. It's a place that seems to be in the state of decay, like nature is reclaiming it, which, is a powerful metaphor for the decay within the family itself.
That's a great point. The house reflecting the family.
And adding to this unsettling atmosphere he encounters this, well, ancient, unsettling old woman, Janet Clouston. She speaks in these dark, cryptic tones, muttering about curses and blood upon the house and its mask.
So lovely, just what you want to hear.
It's absolutely chilling. What do you make of that initial impression Stevenson creates there? The house, the old woman.
Well, Stevenson is just a master of atmosphere, isn't he? And he uses the House of Shaws almost as a character in itself. It's a house of fear, as the text actually calls it.
Right.
And it perfectly reflects the sinister and frankly malevolent nature of Ebenezer. The crumbling architecture, the lack of proper maintenance, the unfinished state, all these details, they speak volumes. They hint at a decay that extends far beyond the physical structure.
That deeper problems.
It suggests neglect, avarice, and a deeply troubled history. And Janet Clouston's role is fascinating. She kind of represents the superstitious folk wisdom of the Highlands and Lowlands.
The local lore.
Exactly. Her dark pronouncements, her belief in witches and omens, and her specific curses about blood and a dead man's blood, they aren't just local gossip. They are potent foreshadowing devices.
Setting things up.
Subtly introducing the themes of deep-seated betrayal, maybe even murder, and hidden family secrets that David is about to uncover. This immediately establishes an atmosphere of dread, of suspicion. It effectively communicates that David's innocent hopes for a warm family welcome are, well, profoundly misplaced.
Yeah, way off.
He expects an uncle, he finds a spider in a decaying web. It's incredibly effective.
And those hopes, already severely shaken by just the look of the house, are utterly dashed when he finally meets his uncle, Ebenezer Balfour. The man isn't just unwelcoming, he's like outright grotesque and unsettling.
Stevenson really paints a picture.
He does.
Yeah.
Ebenezer is stooping, narrow-shouldered, clay-faced, unwashed, wearing an old nightgown. The house is largely empty. He offers David barely palatable, bad food. It's the very antithesis of hospitality. A stark, almost theatrical contrast to David's expectations of family warmth and, respectable living. You can practically smell the avarice and neglect radiating from the man and his surroundings. It's visceral.
It's a deliberate portrait of miserliness and moral decay, isn't it? Ebenezer's physical appearance, his squalid living conditions, they're outward manifestations of his internal corruption.
Yeah, what's inside is showing on the outside.
Exactly. And this is where David's coming of age truly accelerates, because it's forced by immediate and terrifying circumstances. David quickly starts to piece together the chilling truth. His father, Alexander, was Ebenezer's younger twin brother.
Twins. That complicates things.
It really does. And Ebenezer harbored this deep, poisonous grievance over the inheritance and his brother's marriage. The source material clearly mentions Ebenezer's profound resentment over David's father's life choices and his rightful share of the family estate.
So it's pure jealousy and greed.
Consumed by it. Ebenezer, consumed by greed and envy, makes these immediate, almost crude attempts to eliminate David.
It's an almost unbelievable escalation of malice, isn't it? He tries to kill David outright, like almost immediately.
Right away. No messing about.
First, he lures David into this treacherous, pitch-black, broken stair tower, clearly hoping David will just fall to his death in the darkness.
Terrifying.
But David, through sheer quick-wittedness, maybe just luck, manages to avoid the deadly plunge. And then there's the discovery of the blue phial.
Ah, yes, the phial.
Hinting at a powerful sedative or maybe outright poison, revealing Ebenezer's chilling intent to incapacitate or kill David more subtly. These aren't accidents. These are calculated acts of betrayal by his own kin.
Precisely. These acts form the absolute core of Ebenezer's betrayal, revealing his true avaricious nature in the most brutal way possible. Stevenson depicts that stair tower incident with such stark tension.
You really feel it.
You do. David's fear in the oppressive darkness, Ebenezer's chillingly casual instructions to take care as David ascends into what he hopes will be his nephew's doom.
Unbelievable.
David's instinctive caution, feeling with his foot before stepping, that's his first real act of self-preservation guided by suspicion. It's a nascent form of the resourcefulness that will serve him so well later on.
He learns fast.
He has to. And the blue phial is equally unsettling. It's found hidden, suggesting a deliberate and secretive attempt at poisoning. While the exact substance isn't detailed, the implication is crystal clear. Ebenezer intends to remove David from the picture permanently.
One way or another.
Either by incapacitation leading to further harm, or just outright murder. These narrow escapes aren't just thrilling plot points, they are crucial in hardening David, stripping away his naive trust.
He has to grow up fast.
He begins to understand that those who should protect him are, in fact, his gravest threats. And the revelation that his father had a twin brother, Alexander, also adds this significant layer of complication to the inheritance.
Right. It's not just him versus his uncle. There's history.
Exactly. It suggests a history of sibling rivalry, a complex legal situation which Ebenezer is ruthlessly exploiting for his own gain. David has to rapidly learn to question everything, to see through appearances, and, quite literally, to fight for his life against someone who embodies pure, unadulterated greed.
It's where David's learning curve truly, sharply accelerates. His narrow escapes highlight not just his growing awareness, but this rapidly developing sense of, well, street smarts and resourcefulness.
Definitely.
He's a quick study in the cruel school of hard knocks, forced to question absolutely everyone, especially those he should be able to trust implicitly, like his uncle.
His only living relative, presumably.
Exactly. And the chilling detail of Ebenezer admitting his resentment, even telling David that his father had been dead for 3 weeks before he even bothered to inform him, it's not an accident.
Cold.
It's a meticulously planned attempt to sideline David and secure that inheritance for himself. Ebenezer literally lays out his bitter feelings, his envy of his brother's happiness, and the very existence of David. He's driven by this twisted sense of grievance and a voracious hunger for wealth.
Absolutely. Ebenezer's actions are not just malicious. They are cold, systematic, and rooted in this deep-seated pathology of envy and avarice. He's a man who lives in an empty, decaying house, surrounded by bad food, despite clearly possessing a significant fortune.
The classic miser.
Yeah. Textbook. This extreme miserliness, combined with his direct, albeit clumsy, attempts on David's life, reveals a profound moral vacuum. David's growing suspicion, like his wariness in the dark stair tower, and his discovery of the blue file marks the early critical stages of his transformation.
First steps.
He's learning to observe, to question, and most importantly, to rely on his own wits to survive. And having failed in these direct, brutal attempts, Ebenezer realizes he needs a more elaborate and seemingly foolproof plan to remove his nephew permanently from the Scottish landscape.
And that more elaborate plan is truly despicable. It's a betrayal that plunges David into an entirely new dimension of horror. Ebenezer masking his malice with this veneer of feigned kindness.
Putting on a show.
Totally. He sends David on what appears to be a simple, innocent errand. Just deliver a letter to Captain Hoseason of the Brig Covenant down to the Queen's Ferry.
Sounds harmless enough.
On the surface.
Yeah.
But this, of course, is nothing short of a complete ruse. David, thankfully, is already on high alert. His suspicions are deeply aroused by his uncle's earlier attempts on his life.
He's learned something then.
He has. This heightened awareness proves crucial. He overhears Ebenezer and Captain Hoseason plotting in the Hawes Inn.
Oh, he hears them.
Yes, where his uncle chillingly promises the captain a share in David's misfortune. It's the moment David's entire world utterly shatters. His inheritance becomes a commodity, and his freedom just vanishes.
It's a chilling and meticulously calculated demonstration of Ebenezer's profound cruelty, isn't it? That deceptive politeness, even offering David a Johnny Raw breakfast after the near-fatal stair tower incident.
Rubbing salt in the wound.
It serves only to highlight the depth of Ebenezer's evil. We, as listeners, you really witness David's absolute vulnerability as he's manipulated and tricked by his own uncle. He's handed a letter addressed to a Mr. Bellflower, a sly misdirection.
Clever in a nasty way.
Which, unbeknownst to him, is his ticket to utter betrayal. The overheard conversation between Ebenezer and Hoseason, that promise of a share in David, makes it terrifyingly clear. David is no longer just an heir, he is now a valuable piece of human cargo to be trafficked.
Just property.
Essentially. His desperate, futile cry of, "Help! Help! Murder!" as he's forcibly dragged aboard the brig, only to be struck senseless, signifies the complete and brutal loss of his freedom. His journey, which began as this simple quest for inheritance, has violently transformed into a terrifying fight for sheer survival. It sets the grim stage for the brutal reality of life at sea and the moral decay of his captors.
So David awakens from this ordeal, not in a soft bed or on solid ground, but bound in the dark, suffocating, and utterly filthy hold of the Covenant.
Nightmare scenario.
Completely. He's immediately hit by the excruciating misery of severe seasickness and the harsh, brutal realities of life aboard a ship like this. He learns through these unsettling conversations with Mr. Riach, the mate, and Captain Hoseason himself about the ship's nefarious purpose.
And what is that purpose?
Transporting unhappy criminals, and even more disturbingly, kidnapped innocents to be sold into a life of indentured servitude or slavery in the American colonies, specifically the Carolinas.
So exactly what Ebenezer planned.
Exactly. Can you imagine the horror of that realization? He's essentially being sold into bondage.
It is a stark and brutal awakening for David. And for us, it's a vivid, if profoundly disturbing, window into the brutal economic realities and moral depravity of the 18th century. The ship itself becomes this literal moving prison,
Yeah.
symbolizing David's complete loss of agency and his transformation into mere chattel, like you said. His initial misery is palpable. Bound, sick, trapped in the ship's bowels, hearing the constant thrashing of heavy sprays against the hull, disoriented and terrified.
It's awful.
And Captain Hoseason's chillingly casual admission that the Covenant carries unhappy criminals who were sent overseas to slavery in North America, or the still more unhappy innocents who were kidnapped or trepanned, as the word went, for private interest or vengeance. It paints an incredibly stark picture of human exploitation.
What does trip hand mean exactly?
Trepanned was the chilling term back then for luring or tricking someone into servitude, often with false promises of a better life, only to sell them into bondage.
Wow. Deception on top of everything else.
Absolutely. It reveals the callousness of a society where human beings could be commodities. The crew, with Captain Hoseason himself described as rough, fierce, unscrupulous, and brutal, and Mr. Schwann as sullen, unkind, and harsh, are perfect embodiments of this brutality.
A charming bunch.
Hardly. Stevenson even includes an interesting, slightly anachronistic detail that the slave trade was then much depressed due to the rebellion of the colonies and the formation of the United States. Now, the novel is set in 1751, well before the American Revolution.
Right. Decades before.
But Stevenson likely included this to reflect the anxieties and economic realities of the slave trade as they were understood during his own time of writing. He's kind of projecting a later historical understanding onto the period of the novel, maybe to enhance realism for his contemporary readers.
That's interesting. A little authorial touch.
It's a fascinating insight into the author's craft, yeah.
So David's future is not just uncertain, it's terrifyingly grim. He's essentially being shipped off to become someone's property, all thanks to his uncle's insatiable greed.
The outlook is bleak.
The horrendous conditions on board, the utterly depraved crew, the very purpose of the ship, all these elements coalesce to create this atmosphere of utter hopelessness and moral decay. It's not merely a physical journey across the ocean. It's a descent into the darkest underbelly of human society.
Yeah.
A place where basic human rights are just non-existent.
Precisely. And this grim, morally bankrupt environment, this sense of profound decay, it reaches a horrifying and pivotal climax with a shocking act of violence against one of the most vulnerable members on board.
Ah, yes. Ransom.
David is forced to witness the deplorable treatment of Ransom, the young cabin boy. Ransom is regularly beaten and abused, with Mr. Schwann, the sullen mate, being particularly cruel. We hear of Ransom's bruised limb and silent agony, and him raving against the cruelty of Mr. Schwann.
Poor kid.
And David's initial innocent pity for Ransom stands in stark contrast to the crew's chilling indifference. It highlights David's still intact moral compass, even in this brutal environment.
It's a truly brutal and unforgettable scene, though. One night, after yet another savage beating, Sean, just in a fit of unrestrained rage, brutally murders Ransom.
Just snaps.
Yeah, and Stevenson doesn't shy away from the horrific detail. David's horrified cry, "You've murdered the boy," is the sole voice of outrage, the only protest against this monstrous injustice. It's a pivotal, sickening moment that completely strips away any remaining illusion of order or justice on the Covenant. This is a world without law or mercy.
That's absolutely right. Ransom's murder is a profound turning point, not just for the narrative, but crucially for David's character development. It demonstrates the absolute extreme of brutality that David is now fully exposed to.
No turning back now.
And it forces him to confront death and profound injustice directly. Captain Hoseason's casual, almost dismissive disregard for Ransom's death, emphasizing the expendability of those deemed insignificant aboard the ship, further underscores the utterly lawless and morally devoid nature of the brig.
Life is cheap on the Covenant.
Extremely. This event accelerates David's coming of age exponentially. He's no longer just an innocent bystander, but a traumatized witness to a profound and undeniable injustice. And this horrific event, this grim nadir, it actually sets the stage for David's completely unexpected yet essential alliance.
Right, because things change after this.
They do. For as the ship continues its nefarious journey, it takes on a new, dangerous passenger, dramatically changing the dynamics of power and loyalty on board, and offering David maybe just a glimmer of hope in the overwhelming darkness.
So David is trapped. He's reeling from the sheer horror he's witnessed with Ransom, psychologically scarred, and on this perilous course to be sold into slavery. But then, as if by some, I don't know, miraculous twist of fate or maybe divine intervention, the story takes another dramatic, almost unbelievable turn.
Stevenson keeps you guessing.
He really does.
Yeah.
Amidst a heavy, treacherous fog near Cape Wrath, a new passenger boards the Covenant. And this is Alan Breck Stewart. He's a figure who seems to stride right out of legend. A notorious Jacobite rebel, a seasoned soldier of fortune.
A very different kind of character enters the scene.
Completely. He's carrying a substantial belt of gold and is desperate for passage to France, fleeing the ruthless aftermath of the failed Jacobite rising of 1745-46.
Alan's arrival is an immediate electric game changer for the narrative, and really for David's fate. He introduces this instant element of danger, intrigue, and defiance, completely shifting the precarious power balance on the ship.
Yeah, the crew must notice him.
Oh, definitely. Stevenson's description of Alan Breck is striking. It paints him as a man of obvious importance and perilous charm. Fine, silver-mounted pistols, a belt with a great sword, and dressed in a green coat, red waistcoat, blue coat with silver buttons.
Dressed to impress, even on the run.
He's clearly a man of status and formidable presence, not one to be trifled with, even in his fugitive state. His initial defiant statement when Captain Hoseason asks if the crew are his friends, "You have none such friends in your country. They would have died for me like dogs," instantly establishes his loyalty, his warrior ethos, and his dangerous character.
Strong words.
And his status as a Jacobite, a follower of the exiled Stuart royal line, vividly highlights the ongoing political unrest in Scotland. The deep, bitter divisions between the lowland Whig and Highland Jacobite cultures, and the constant precariousness of his position.
He's a wanted man.
Very much so. He even initially deceives Hoseason, claiming to be a true blue Protestant, only later revealing his true Jacobite identity. It shows a necessary cunning born of survival in a hostile political climate. He explicitly refers to the 45 and 6, meaning the years of the Jacobite Rising and its bloody aftermath.
So David, still a terrified prisoner and now acutely aware of his impending sale into slavery, he quickly realizes that this mysterious, dangerous man, this fierce Highland warrior, might be his only real hope.
A desperate gamble.
It is. He finds himself hidden in the ship's roundhouse when he overhears Captain Hoseason and his treacherous crew plotting to murder Alan Breck and steal his gold.
Again with the plotting, they're not subtle.
Not at all. It's a moment of profound moral reckoning for David. He's compelled by this powerful sense of justice, still reeling from Ransom's murder, and an instinct for self-preservation to warn Alan.
This is truly a pivotal and transformative moment for David. His decision to warn Alan, a complete stranger, a man from a vastly different world, it showcases his rapidly growing courage and the firm awakening of his moral compass.
He chooses a side.
He does. Stevenson captures this internal struggle and David's ultimate choice with such vividness. "I had no choice of mine, but as if by compulsion that I walked right up to the table and put my hand on his shoulder."
Powerful image.
Then he reveals the crew's murderous plot, stating directly and unequivocally, "They've murdered a boy already, now it's you." This isn't solely an act of self-preservation, it's an act of profound empathy, a clear stand against injustice, and a daring leap of faith in the face of overwhelming odds.
He's taking a huge risk.
He is choosing to side with the oppressed, despite the immediate danger to himself.
And this act of courage, this desperate warning, it immediately escalates into a fierce, desperate siege in the confined space of the ship's roundhouse. David and Alan, now truly unlikely allies, fight off the mutinous crew.
The roundhouse fight, classic scene.
David is no longer a passive victim. He is actively participating, fearlessly reloading pistols for Alan, who, in the brutal chaos, manages to kill Schwan, the very man who murdered Ransom.
Justice for Ransom, in a way.
It's a moment of grim, yet incredibly satisfying justice. Alan's cry of triumph, "That's him that killed the boy," perfectly links this new conflict to the earlier unavenged injustice, solidifying the moral foundation of their burgeoning alliance. Exactly. The intense siege scene, graphically depicted with all its brutal, claustrophobic detail, forever solidifies the bond between David and Alan. They are transformed from wary strangers into brothers in arms, united by shared danger, a common enemy, and a mutual fight for survival.
They need each other. Absolutely. The battle is ferocious, and David's active contribution, his quick thinking in loading Alan's pistols, demonstrates his rapidly developing resourcefulness and courage. Alan's powerful Gaelic song after the fight, "This is the song of the sword of Alan. The smith made it, the fire set it, now it shines in the hand of Alan Breck," serves as this deeply symbolic moment,
Celebrating the victory.
celebrating his warrior identity, his heritage, and their shared triumph. This act of violence, however grim, is also a moment of profound growth for David. He has actively participated in a fight for his life and for the life of another, choosing to wield his own agency in a world that has tried to strip him of it.
He's not just surviving, he's fighting back.
But the uneasy truce established after the siege, born of necessity and blood, is incredibly short-lived. Nature itself intervenes with a terrifying ferocity, setting the stage for yet another ordeal that will further test David and Alan's bond, and truly strip David of everything he thought he had left, leaving him utterly alone once more.
Just when you think things absolutely cannot get any worse. Boom. The Covenant encounters a violent, unforgiving storm.
Acts of God or just bad luck at sea.
The ship is battered, lost, and eventually strikes treacherous rocks off the Scottish coast. In the overwhelming chaos and terror, David is separated from Alan,
Torn apart in the storm.
and by some miracle, washes ashore on this desolate, seemingly deserted islet named Earaid. He wakes in the spare yard with a spar, completely disoriented, injured, and utterly terrified. He's alone, without resources, believing themselves completely stranded and lost forever, cut off from all hope.
The shipwreck is a truly dramatic and devastating act of fate. It strips David of everything, his meager possessions, his newfound ally, Alan, and any sense of security he might have started to feel.
Back to square one, almost worse.
His solitary struggle on the desolate islet of Earaid, which Stevenson describes with these vivid, stark details like dots of heather and the sparkling of the mica in the rocks, powerfully emphasizes themes of survival and absolute self-reliance.
Just him against the element.
David is forced to learn fundamental lessons about nature's harsh indifference and his own fragile resilience. His initial despair is palpable. He truly believes he is completely cut off from the mainland, no hope of rescue, no supplies, and just the crushing weight of loneliness.
He must have been terrifying.
He has to summon every ounce of wit and courage just to find food and shelter, entirely dependent on his own rapidly evolving survival skills. This period of isolation is crucial for his self-discovery. It pushes him far beyond the bounds of his sheltered upbringing and forces him to confront the raw, brutal reality of existence. It's here, truly alone, that he begins to shed the last vestiges of the naive lowland boy.
It's a truly harrowing experience, facing, what seems like certain death alone on a barren rock. He believes himself completely cut off, utterly without hope. But just when his despair reaches its absolute deepest point, a crucial observation about the tides, a simple yet profound realization, leads to an unexpected reunion.
Ah, the tides.
It rekindles his quest for justice and sets him on the true path of his adventure across Scotland. It's an incredible moment of intellectual awakening amidst all his physical torment. So, David is on Earaid, feeling utterly lost and defeated, convinced he's marooned forever. But then his keen observation, maybe honed by his recent trials, pays off. He notices the patterns of local fishermen's boats
Paying attention.
and makes this crucial discovery. The islet of Earaid is actually connected to the Isle of Mull at low tide.
It's a causeway.
Exactly. This simple fact, a detail easily overlooked by an inexperienced eye, changes absolutely everything. He crosses the tidal causeway and, against all odds and the vastness of the Scottish landscape, eventually reunites with Alan Breck Stewart.
Amazing reunion.
It's a truly momentous occasion, solidifying their alliance despite their vastly different backgrounds and personalities.
What's truly fascinating here is how this reunion isn't just, a convenient plot device. It's a profound moment for David's ongoing journey of transformation. That symbolic act of David spontaneously giving Alan a silver button from his coat.
The silver button.
It becomes incredibly powerful. It marks David as the lad with the silver button. Alan's reaction, acknowledging David as a friend to his country, by Torresay, elevates this simple gesture into a profound bond of loyalty and respect. It cuts right across the deep cultural chasm between them.
Because they are so different.
Oh, completely. Their cultural clash is immediately evident even in their reunion. David, the lowland Whig, aligned with the British government, and Alan, the Highland Jacobite rebel. Alan speaks Gaelic, David speaks English, often needing translation.
Language is just the start.
It highlights not just linguistic differences, but fundamentally different worldviews and historical allegiances.
And it's much more than just a language barrier, isn't it? It's their entire understanding of the world, of justice, of loyalty. David, despite his initial lowland wariness of Highland Jacobites, finds himself forming this deep, almost brotherly connection with Alan.
Shared hardship does that.
It's a testament to the power of it. There's even a surprising moment, deeply symbolic of David's newfound assertiveness, where he actually strikes Alan in the mouth during a heated argument.
He hits Alan. Wow.
Yeah, this isn't just a childish spat. It showcases David's rapidly developing courage and his absolute refusal to be intimidated even by his formidable ally.
Right.
This moment perfectly encapsulates their dynamic. Two very different men learning to respect, challenge, and ultimately rely on each other.
Absolutely. Their internal conflict, David's lingering discomfort with Alan's Jacobite loyalties clashing with his own Whig inclinations, vividly underscores a major central theme of the novel: the deeply entrenched historical tensions in post-Jacobite Scotland.
The bigger picture.
This forces David to confront broader political and social divisions that extend far beyond his personal quest for inheritance. It's no longer just about his own family's treachery, it's about the treachery inherent in a nation divided. This strengthened, if sometimes volatile, bond becomes absolutely essential as they navigate the treacherous political landscape of the Highlands. A landscape deeply intertwined with the infamous historical event known as the Appin murder.
Ah, yes, the Red Fox. This is where David's intensely personal adventure truly collides with the massive, often brutal historical narrative of Scotland. Alan reveals the immense political tensions still simmering in the Highlands.
Still incredibly raw.
He explains the context of the infamous Appin murder of 1752. Colin Campbell of Glenure, known ominously as the Red Fox, was a government factor. Now, what exactly was a factor back then?
A factor was essentially a crown-appointed land agent or estate manager. They typically oversaw confiscated Jacobite lands after the rebellions. His role was deeply, profoundly resented, particularly in the Highlands after the 45 Rising.
Why so much resentment?
Because he was responsible for collecting rents, enforcing anti-Jacobite laws, and often overseeing the forfeiture of ancestral clan lands. He was seen as a living symbol of English oppression and the deliberate dismantling of the ancient clan system. He evoked great hostility from Jacobite sympathizers.
So he wasn't popular.
Understatement. And he's been killed. And Alan Breck himself is not just a suspect, but a prime target, relentlessly pursued by redcoats.
So Alan's wanted for murder now.
He's certainly a main suspect, yes, which puts them both in even greater danger.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we see how David's personal quest for his inheritance becomes inextricably interwoven with the national turmoil and historical injustices.
Absolutely. The Appin murder is the great historical mystery driving a significant portion of the narrative. It gives their flight a heightened sense of regency and danger. It vividly highlights the deep-seated clan rivalries, particularly between the Stuarts, Alan's clan, and the Campbells, whom Alan refers to with profound hatred as Blackhawks.
Strong feelings there.
Deep-seated historical enmity. The subsequent relentless pursuit by redcoats creates this constant, life-threatening backdrop for David and Alan's journey. It's a powerful illustration of the systemic injustice and brutality faced by the Highland clans after the Jacobite Rising.
It wasn't just Alan suspected, was it?
No. James Stewart of the Glens, Alan's chieftain's agent, is wrongly accused as an abettor in the murder. He's later tried by a jury predominantly composed of Campbells.
Back against him.
Completely. And despite overwhelming evidence of his innocence and the practical certainty he couldn't have committed the crime, he is found guilty and hanged near Bellachulish.
Just like that.
This egregious miscarriage of justice, alongside Alan's defiant statement about his own estate being in the hands of the man they call King George, truly brings home the systemic oppression faced by the Jacobites and the breakdown of any semblance of impartial law in the Highlands. It shows how personal vendettas were easily politicized and justice was often determined by who held power.
It paints such a vivid, almost raw picture of a deeply divided Scotland, where ancient clan loyalties clashed violently with the imposed British rule, and personal vendettas could so easily be politicized.
A powder keg.
David, coming from this more ordered, legalistic lowland society, is brutally exposed to a very different, raw kind of justice here. He's forced to understand loyalty not just to a distant king, but to a clan, a community, and to a shared sense of injustice. His moral universe just expands dramatically.
Precisely. With this harrowing knowledge and experience, David's singular quest for his own justice, his rightful inheritance, becomes inextricably linked to Alan's desperate fight for survival and the broader, more profound issues of Highland loyalty and political freedom.
He can't separate them anymore.
He cannot simply seek his inheritance in isolation anymore. He must now navigate, and indeed understand, the complex and dangerous world he is traversing. It adds immense weight, moral complexity, and historical significance to their shared journey.
And that world is the rugged, wild, and unforgiving Scottish Highlands. David and Alan embark on this perilous flight in the heather, as it's famously known, pursued relentlessly by redcoats who patrol the passes and glens.
Constantly looking over their shoulder.
This extended, grueling journey, depicted across several chapters, isn't just a physical escape from capture. It's David's ultimate, crucible-like coming-of-age experience. When you look at David Balfour's wanderings by land on a map, it really illustrates the sheer vastness and difficulty of what they undertake, crisscrossing some of Scotland's most remote and challenging terrain.
This segment truly represents the profound physical, moral, and intellectual transformation of David. The landscape itself becomes an active character, sometimes an antagonist, sometimes a sanctuary. It tests their limits to the absolute extreme and forges their friendship in the intense crucible of shared hardship.
You really feel the strain.
Imagine the relentless weather, the driving rain, the biting winds, the constant hunger, the gnawing fatigue as they scramble over mountains and through bogs, always with the fear of discovery.
Exhausting just thinking about it.
We see David learn invaluable practical skills for survival. How to track and hide, how to move silently through the heather, how to endure extreme physical discomfort. There's that memorable incident where David, exhausted and ill, is nearly left behind.
Yeah, Alan almost leaves him.
But then Alan shows this fierce loyalty, even carrying him for a time, despite their earlier arguments. Their unwavering friendship, despite their vastly different cultural and political backgrounds, as they rely absolutely on each other for survival, becomes one of the novel's most powerful and enduring elements.
Opposites attract, or at least survive together.
Alan, the seasoned Highlander, teaches David, the lowland boy, not just how to survive in the wilderness, but how to look at the world with a pragmatism and a moral clarity he never possessed before.
And throughout all this relentless flight, all this danger and newfound understanding, David never loses sight of his original goal. His quest for justice transforms from that initial, somewhat naive desire for legal inheritance into this hardened, resolute purpose.
It's become something bigger.
He's witnessed profound injustices, from Ransom's murder to the Appin murder. He's survived incredible dangers, and he's forged this unbreakable bond with Alan. All of these experiences inform and strengthen his resolve to ultimately secure his rightful inheritance. The underlying thread of confronting Uncle Ebenezer to secure his rights is the unwavering driving force that propels them forward through every single challenge. But now, he has a far deeper understanding of what justice truly entails.
This journey, this deep dive into the raw heart of Scotland, allows David to see multiple, often conflicting perspectives on justice and loyalty. It enriches his understanding far beyond anything his sheltered upbringing in Essendon could ever have provided.
He's seen both sides.
He's no longer just seeking his own kingdom, as it were. He's gained a profound, hard-won understanding of what it means to belong, what it means to fight for what is right, not just for himself, but for a broader sense of moral good. His ultimate confrontation with Ebenezer won't just be about legal title. It will be a clash of two transformed individuals, one made worse by greed, the other made stronger and wiser by immense hardship and profound alliance.
So considering those deep historical divisions and systemic injustices of the time, how might David's exposure to both the ordered, legalistic lowland perspective and the fiercely loyal, clan-based Highland perspective ultimately shape his understanding of true justice and what it truly means to belong not just to a family, but, to a nation? What an incredible, immersive journey we've taken today with David Balfour. From a sheltered, trusting orphan to a hardened, morally astute adventurer.
Quite the transformation.
We've witnessed firsthand how a seemingly straightforward quest for inheritance can quickly morph into this desperate, life-or-death fight for survival, punctuated by shocking betrayals and, perhaps most powerfully, the forging of an unlikely, unbreakable friendship.
Indeed. This deep dive has shown us not just David's profound physical transformation, but his immense moral and intellectual growth. He learned that justice isn't always straightforward or, found neatly in legal texts.
Right.
And that loyalty can emerge from the most unexpected places, even amidst the turbulent and deeply divided political landscape of 18th century Scotland.
It's a powerful, timeless reminder, really, that our own deep dives into new experiences, unfamiliar cultures, challenging circumstances, unexpected alliances, can often reveal incredible strengths we never knew we possessed
Mhm.
and fundamentally reshape our understanding of the world around us.
Absolutely. And this journey raises an important question for you, our listener, to consider. In your own life, what unexpected challenge or alliance has most profoundly changed your perspective on what you believe to be true justice, what loyalty truly means, or even your own evolving identity?
A truly thought-provoking question to leave you with. Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll be back soon with another stack of sources and another fascinating journey. Until then, keep exploring.